about market performance. And I have a question for you, Boyega. Is what we're seeing now a profit-taking or investors exiting because of liquidity? What's your take, Boyega?
I'm more inclined to think it's about liquidity. If you just take a look at the stocks that lost points yesterday, you'd realize that they are the shares which are more likely to be sold or bought, as the case may be. And it means it's easier to gain liquidity from them. Typically at this time of the year, you see a certain desire for some liquidity amongst investors. And I think that's what's dragging the market down.
Let's talk about market behavior. Are we seeing any changes in market behavior? I mean, you said from profit taking, of course, to the application of investment fundamentals. Are we seeing investors applying this in reaching decisions?
You know, you want to take a look at the 52-week performance, not just year to date, but the 52-week performance. And you'll see a significant rise of about 30% over the past 52 weeks. Now, that probably tells you that we did have undervalued stocks that while back, and those stocks are actually beginning to reach their potential at this time. What you then find is that for most of the investors, it's a matter really of proper fundamentals and analysis. And I believe that's what has driven the market up as much as we've seen it so far. But regardless of that, you tend to want to have the normal behavior which happens at this time of the year, and that's beginning to cloud what may then be, you know, an absolutely good year-to-date performance. So it's more, yes, there is a desire to get some liquidity from the market. It's not about profit-taking, but I think because we've got fundamentals applied more to market pricing now, we may see that the drops we experience are not as significant or profound as they had been before.
And as you mentioned, Boyega, certainly some stocks which were undervalued, we're seeing them gaining now. And you're talking about unrealized potential that we're seeing in some stocks. Could you highlight for us some of these stocks that we've seen which were undervalued and performing much better?
Certainly, if you look at the fast-moving consumer goods market, we did see stocks like Cadbury, and if you look at that stock in particular, you'd be looking at the important the rise it's taken since the start of the year. You want to look at Nimeth, for instance, and you want to look at some of the other ones in the pharmaceutical sector. You will realize that between January and today, they have gained a significant return. But that's about those stocks that are beginning to realize the potential. There's still a sector, and as uninteresting as it looks, I still believe that there is a lot of value in there to be tapped. And I'm speaking about the insurance sector. We're beginning to see one or two companies leading the direction, getting away from the pack of the laggards in that sector. But as a whole, you will agree with me that there's a lot to be done in the insurance sector still in this country.
Right, so you've mentioned the insurance sector, some FMCG stocks there. So what are your recommended picks at this time? I mean, certainly banking sector always comes out as one of the recommended picks. What about the petroleum sector, for example?
Okay, now we're getting to the end of the calendar year. It's going to be either 9 months for some stocks, or it's going to be a full year for some stocks by the time we cross over into 2013. At this stage, as an investor, you want to start looking in terms of taking a position and anticipating what corporate action to expect next year. We've seen full 9-month or full 6-month results, as the case may be in some instances. I would certainly want to be more inclined to the financial institutions, the banks in particular. In the petroleum sector, yes, there is significant returns there in that sector, and I think it's also one of those that positions should be taking in.
And as we go on, I mean, you mentioned 52-week positive growth of about 29.58%. Do you see this growth carrying on till the end of this year? And certainly with the MPC decision, I'm curious to know how you see the market performing, because some people were looking for a little bit of easing from the MPC.
Well, fine. We're not going to get that easing, and I think we're still going to have an undulating index till the end of the year. There will be drops still. I hope that those drops are not going to be as significant. If you look at the rise we experienced yesterday, well, day before yesterday was a 0.35 percent increase in the ASI, and yesterday was a 0.21 drop in the ASI. Hopefully, we will hover around the area we are till the end of the year.